Talking Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales is now streaming live on Fun Media at fun927.com and is always on Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, and at tv5wrestling.com.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.
It's our first show of May. It is May the 5th, everybody. Hello to my buddy Frank Seaton, the other end of Arkansas. My buddy in Mississippi, Calvin Lindsay, the greatest producer of TV5 and Mid-South Coliseum Wrestling and Jarrett Promotions. Randy West is in the house. Thomas is in the house. And we're ready to rock and roll on this edition of Talking Memphis Wrestling. Thanks to everybody, all the girls and boys, the men and women, everybody out there that sent in so many compliments, so much feedback from last week's show as we were talking the greatest decade, and it's different for everybody. The greatest decade in Memphis wrestling, it's the 70s for me. We showed some classic stuff. We're still on the 70s, and we will certainly have great stuff today on this program. We'll do year-to-year rundown on the highlights of every year starting. We'll start in 1971. We'll get through that. We'll go through 79. We have some classic video from Channel 13 from 76, one of the greatest deals ever done between Jerry Lawler and Gorgeous George Jr. The build-up for Rocky Johnson and Jerry Lawler's match in June the 21st of 1976. But before we get into the sports report, we have 5 or 6, and Adam Dunn will go crazy on this, 5 or 6 minutes of a Dave Brown weather forecast from Channel 13. I'm really looking forward to that. We will see the 1976 Batman made an appearance on Channel 13 Wrestling. We will also see highlights of the Channel 13 Studio Wrestling Christmas special. Also today on this program, the 1977, after the split, we will see a TV match with Jerry Lawler and Paul Orndorff. We will see a confrontation between Jerry Lawler and Beverly Dundee. Again, if time, Lawler turns heel in 1979, a great promo. Valiant against a heel Tommy Rich in 1980. I'm going to skip a year. And also the Rich Valiant Mother angle from 1980. This is a loaded show. It's first take time, a loaded show, and I'm blowed up talking about it. And I will say this, we are having issues. Adam's out of town and Adam's online, but the last I heard, Adam is frozen up and can't do anything. So until Adam writes me and tells me otherwise, I'm producing this show. Hopefully he will get that figured out. First take time from Pat Trammell.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you. I am really, really excited tonight because this is kind of the embryonic stage, if you will, of Memphis wrestling as we know it. The embryonic stage of the emergence of Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee and others. And I'm really, really excited to kind of see how Memphis wrestling under the Jarrett Lawler administration starts to find its way.
All right. Is that your first take of the day?
That's my first take.
All right. We appreciate
Hey,
it.
Frank. Hello, everybody.
We do appreciate everybody. This audience is amazing. And as we bring in for his first take after about 2 weeks absence, he's here, and I'm going to start. I might vary from his first take because I want to tell Michael St. John, the greatest of the greats, the great Michael St. John, a radio god, a wrestling announcing God, Michael St. John. But enough of that flattery and good stuff. I want to make a confession. This past Saturday, I did something that I've never done in my entire life, and I'm 64 years old. I had never watched the Kentucky Derby in my life. Never in my life. And I watched it. Main reason I watched it was because I knew Michael John. Now, I didn't think I'd see Michael St. John, but I watched it because of that, to give me something to talk about on this show. So, see, Michael, on Saturday night, I was thinking, what kind of first take do I want Michael to do, and how am I going to lead into it? I don't just show up on Tuesday evening and think about stuff I'm going to say and do. But how was your experience in the Derby? How exciting it was? And what do you think the first lady trainer to ever win the Derby? I thought great storylines. Did you and the lovely bride of yours have a wonderful time? And how many people were there with you? I think they said something about, was it 50,000 or 150,000?
No, 150,000. 150,000 at Churchill Downs Saturday on a chilly day. But it was a great day. It was a great Derby, one of the most exciting in a long time. And, when you think about it, and I love this take, is that 152 years since the start of something, history gets made. And this time with a woman trainer. Excuse me. I've still not got a voice from Saturday. But I've got to tell you, that was as an exciting of a moment. And I didn't see the reaction of the winning trainer until afterwards. And I got home and watched it. But in the race itself, and when they came past us, there were a thundering herd of about 6 of them collected together as they passed that 16th pole towards the finish line where we were. And it was an exciting event. And it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Melanie's almost sister, it's our first cousin, but they're like sisters. Tony and her husband went with us. And we stayed in Bardstown, which is a beautiful community. First time ever staying at a Verbo. And was knocked out of the park with it. In fact, I'd probably move into it if somebody offered it to me. But a beautiful place. We had a great time. Went down, did Maker's Mark on Friday, did the tour, dipped the bottle, did the whole 9 yards, ate at our favorite Cuban restaurant in America on Friday night. But before then, took Melanie and the crew to the place they brought us for the AT&T morning line for our Sunday cocktail party, Vernon Lanes, which is a bowling alley in Butchertown in Louisville. It is the 4th oldest still established running bowling alley in America, but it's also a neat little place, almost like a little 8 lanes of bowling, but there's like a little corner bar kind of thing where Sheriff Sims and Chuck Ellis and myself discovered the $20 shot of Pappy Van Winkle. And if you know anything about bourbon, Pappy Van Winkle is the mother church of bourbon, and their bottles normally sell, if you get it from the distributor and you're lucky, you're going to pay $150, $200 for it. But if you get it offline or you get it from a third source, it's over $1,000 a bottle. So a $20 shot, it means a mixed drink at a bar will cost you $16 now anyway. So for $4 more, you get the top of the chart. So we had a lot of fun with that. The girls loved the atmosphere. Kenny, Tony's husband, and I had a shot of Pappy. So that sort of made for the whole thing, and great Derby, great excitement, great fun, and history made. That to say that is just what a great story. Now the question is, do they go on? Does she take him to the Preakness? Do they go to the Belmont? The ironic thing is this year's Kentucky Derby is the only one of the Triple Crown races run at the home track, the track they run it at for the last 150 years, Churchill Downs. The Preakness in Baltimore is normally at High Hope, Pimlico Racetrack, which has been torn down. They're rebuilding it with a racino, with a casino inside. So that's not online. Hopefully it'll be back online by next May. And then the Belmont Stakes for the 3rd year in a row is at Saratoga, New York, which is a fabulous place to watch a horse race. But it will go back to Belmont Park in New York next year with that big race. You know, the racing tracks are, of course, when they can put the casinos in, they make a lot more money. So anyway, great trip. Thank you for a long first take, but thanks for leading me that direction.
Now, quick question. I believe you had logged into the show and heard my preview of the show. And Pat, real quick kind of addition to your first take. Are you excited they were going to go such a deep dive way back to Channel 13? And we're going back to a show that we started the subject last week with the 70s. How excited are you about that?
I'm excited because a lot of new tapes and a lot of new things have shown up that have been lost for years. I mean, we haven't seen them. And so to see them, and I know last week I actually tuned into the show on Twitter for about 10 minutes, and you guys had a great show last week, by the way. And I mean, just to the fact that these things are really being unpacked, if you would, for the first time in probably 50 years, makes me very excited.
Our audience can help us out here by liking and sharing and helping us build the audience. Again, as I said, as Adam goes right with me, so I can see, as I told everybody, Adam was having issues. He's in a motel room somewhere, but he did take Michael off and put me on. What I'm going to do, Adam, I'm talking to Adam directly. I don't know how professional that is. Adam, if you could put, because I'm going to read some information to everybody, I'm going to read it quick and kind of, I want you to just consume what I'm telling. Adam, if you could put up, as I look at my notes, if you can put up the Talking Memphis Wrestling graphic, that's where it is, man. My favorite decade, the decade where Randy Hales became hooked, and over the years, not always in a good way, been consumed about it, the 1970s. At the start of the 70s, Studio Wrestling continued to air on Channel 13 WHBQ TV at the start of the 70s. In 1971, a big deal for Memphis Wrestling when they left the auditorium and went to the Mid-South Coliseum with the debut of June the 7th, 1971. August the 8th, 1972, the first sellout of the Mid-South Coliseum for wrestling, the fabulous Jackie Fargo against Al Green in a hair match. Then, in a spectacular debut that ended up a spotlight in a tag team of the person that would become the king of wrestling, the greatest wrestler ever from Memphis, a WWF, WWE Hall of Famer, Jerry Lawler. The debut of Jerry Lawler, Jim White, and Sam Bass in 73. In 74, Jerry Lawler becomes the king. There was more of a focus going from a tag team territory to a single main events. It led eventually to the road to the gold and a Jerry Lawler, Jack Briscoe September world title match. Multiple sellouts in 1974, starting with Ricky Gibson. Sellouts from June to the end of August. 1st of June to the end of August, with more in September and October. Sellouts not only with Fargo and Rick Gibson, but with Dick the Bruiser, with Bobo Brazil, with Mr. Wrestling 2, with The Sheik, with Jerry Briscoe, and so many more, leading to the September the 16th Jerry Lawler, Jack Briscoe match. 1975 started the year with Jerry Lawler being banished after a promotional dispute with Jerry Jarrett and Nick Doulas, and he went away for a period of time. But that led to the debut of a new tag team, George Barnes and Bill Superstar Dundee. Lawler came back in June. Dundee switched babyface in October. A big run from the Mongolian Stomper and the Magnificent Zulu. In 1976, Jerry Lawler against a bunch of football players. Lawler formed the Lawler Army. Then Lawler had just an unbelievable feud, even though it was short, with Gorgeous George Jr. Now, one of the best ways to ever turn babyface, Gorgeous George was a member of Lawler's army. They had some friction. I've stole this clip from the 70s TV, and we want to watch this. And folks, this is absolutely, positively a plus example of how to break up partners and how to switch from a baby face to a heel. This is unbelievable. This is 8 minutes and 22 seconds. It's America's favorite sport on WHBQ television. This is Jerry Lawler confrontation, and he had Pork Chop Cash with him, with Gorgeous George Jr., George Wagner. 8 minutes, 22 seconds. I'm blowed up. I'm going to blow you up now. This is a great, great, great piece of business on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Gorgeous George, not George Wagner, but Gorgeous George has refused to wrestle with his partner, one half of the Southern Tag Team Champions, my man Pork Chop Cash. Well, the truth of the matter is, and let me set you rednecks straight on one thing, the truth of the matter is, the reason he's not going to be wrestling as partners anymore is because this man right here doesn't want him as a partner. Is that right, Pork Chop?
Right. You know what thing? I'm like this. I don't mind George riding in the wagon, but he's dragging his feet, and he's not holding up his partner.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. This man, every match that they've defended their Southern Tag Team belts, this man has had to defeat both of his opponents. George Wagner, as he likes to call himself, Gorgeous George, was more of a liability to the team than an asset. Here's the athlete. Here's the man that was winning all the matches, and Gorgeous George was just along for a free ride.
That's right.
And we're sick of that, right, Pork Chop?
Right.
We don't need anybody that's going to drag their feet on the wagon, so he is no longer going to be partners with Gorgeous George.
Because I tell him, if he going to drag his feet, we'll get off the wagon.
That's exactly right, brother.
I
And
know
another thing that he's been complaining about, it's a little bit embarrassing when a man of his stature, and everybody in the community recognizes him when he drives down the street, and he's sitting across from him on the seat is a clown with a pink dress on. And he's sick and tired of that because it's a little bit embarrassing with Gorgeous George wearing those dresses around town. And another thing, another reason we don't want him for a partner is I did a little research. I know you saw Roots. I saw it. I did a little research into Gorgeous George's roots. He come out here telling everybody about his old man, Gorgeous George Sr., supposed to be the greatest wrestler that ever lived. You've all heard of him. Well, let me tell you the truth about him. He died drunk in an alley, broke, penniless. He was an alcoholic. He died of cirrhosis of the liver. He was a bum. And Gorgeous George tried to pattern his life.
He was a drunk.
Come on, George. He was a drunk.
I know what he said.
Hey, Lawler, I want to tell you something right now, you big garbage mouth punk. I'm sick and tired of listening to you run your mouth. I'm sick and tired of you running the Army. I'm not in your Army. The only reason I was is because it was a financial situation. The rest of these turkeys that you had in your Army was in there for a freebie. And you don't say things like that because...
Hey, come on. Hey.
What about?
Hey. Let's get somebody. Hey, come on, George. Get somebody out here.
1976, Holland Avenue, Holland Drive, in Memphis, Tennessee.
Get some help out
Gorgeous
there.
George attacking Pork Chop Cash.
Hey, George, come on, bring it up now. Look out.
Rick Gibson, Tommy Rich to make the save. Let's react to that. Adam, if you could stop this, and then we'll give the first point. Because I can tell by watching Pat, I don't think he's ever seen this. So, Adam, if you can, just stop that video there. And we'll go back to it in a minute. React to that, Pat Trammell. And it was unreal.
This is unreal 70s wrestling right there. You got Lawler in the he could hit those lapels. He could have flown. He could have flown over the ring with those lapels. Lance with no glasses. Gorgeous George out. Pork Chop. I hadn't seen him in years. This is great stuff right here. This is what with all due respect to Nick and all due respect to the rest of the territory, you only saw this in Memphis.
And it's a good thing. You're saying it as a positive.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Michael St. John, going back to 1976, where were you in 76? Second question is, have you ever been to TV Channel 13 studios? And what did you think about how this was set up in 1976?
Well, first of all, in this when this happened, I was in Memphis programming WMPS, and we had just put WHRK K97 on the air. It was a Saturday. It was a show. I have been to the 13. I have not been to a wrestling show there, but I've been in the studio. The thing about 13 Studio is smaller than Channel 5's. Notice the crowd. And also, they didn't do a lot to make it pretty on TV. I mean, the ring was the center of attraction. I love the blue. I've always liked the mats being darker. I've always been big about mats being darker. And I think it shows off the sport more so than a light-colored mat, and also doesn't glare off the TV. So, but the bump, and Pat, have you ever seen Lawler take a bump like that? I mean, that was athletic.
Pat, no audio.
Don't know why.
You got it now.
Okay.
Repeat what you said, because
no, straight over the table. Never seen before since that.
Incredible. And that, I think that proves Lawler's athletic ability back in those days. And that's a great shot. That's a great shot. The other thing is, I never realized how Pork Chop Cash could sell. But did you notice how he sold like a son of a gun?
The throat. Yeah.
Great. And selling is a lost art, my boys. It really is. It was fantastic. Before we continue that video, I want to because Alexander Arch had mentioned something on a comment. Adam, I want you to go to the pictures. The very last one in the graphic thing is Alex went to a meet and greet the other night, and he's got an autograph from somebody, and there you go.
Hey,
to Alex from downtown, good-looking Bruno, and Mama says it bees that way sometimes. All right, that's.
I love that picture. Bruno needs to send me one of those. I love that picture. I've got a care package for him. And I need his mailing address because I've had it for about 3 months. But I love that post. That's a great poster.
And I wanted to check that in. And Alex, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. This show started out House of Fire. We ain't seen nothing yet. And we will go back to this deal. Remember, taking the guy that started there in the heel, then he came out because of those comments. And they continued. They didn't rush. They didn't rush as far as devoted plenty of TV time as we continue to watch the video from Channel 13.
John Lawler steps out here. Yeah, well, if you hadn't got out here running your mouth, there wouldn't anything happen like that.
Last the school mom.
Let's see if we can get it back together here, Davey.
Where did they get their hairstyle?
Well,
We have,
This was the early
we're supposed to
70s.
have had Pork
I
Chop
just wish
Cash
I had
and,
it.
George Wagner going against Johnson and Kimball. Obviously, that's over on the side is, I said Tommy Gilbert, I meant Tommy Rich, who is Bill
Look at
Dusty's
George
partner,
selling
really working on Pork
the
Chop
riding
Cash.
crop.
There you see Lawler.
Look
You
at
see
the
what he did?
facial.
He
Show
hit
me
George with that
the
riding
eyes
crop
the
right in the
face, too.
back. And Gorgeous
Watch the
George has
people,
had
Michael,
about all that he wants, as you
in
can
the
see right
background, the
now,
audience.
as he jumps right over that top rope.
Stand
The
it
action
up.
is still going
Now,
on in the ring in there.
is this at
Lawler is out there telling him it was all
Mid-South?
accidental and all
Yeah.
those things. And there you see George push Lawler right smack down on the floor, boy, and he didn't have any hesitation about doing that whatsoever. Now, here Tommy Rich has got it on Pork Chop Cash.
Something I want to talk to you about.
George, we got the film.
You know, this belt right here has meant a lot to me. It's meant a lot to me mentally, and it's meant a lot to me financially. But as far as I'm concerned, no more am I Jerry the King Lawler's partner. No more. I don't care about that belt. It's up for grabs now as far as I'm concerned. I want no more part of it. I want no more part of Jerry Lawler except to be in a ring against the man, not with him anymore. You know, things have transpired in my life that really hurt. I've done things that made you people mad at me. I've said things about you people, and I don't know how to ever make amends. But I want to say this to you. Jerry Lawler has said things about my daddy. You know, I can remember when I was younger, and I had a baseball game.
They did the live
And I
interview,
called my dad
however,
and I said,
that
Dad,
video.
I says, all the
Part of
kids
the
are going to have
audience,
their
that
dads
video,
here at the baseball game,
you tell
and
all
you're the only
picture,
one that won't
this
be
was
here.
done after TV was
He
out
says,
of
son,
order,
don't worry about it.
out,
He says, I'll be
off
home.
the
He'd
air.
catch a plane.
So you don't hear
And he'd
audience
fly home, and
reaction
he'd
here.
call up a promoter like in
It's a
Chicago
better
and say, I'm
info.
sorry I can't make it because my son has a baseball game today. That's how good my dad was. He didn't die a drunk in the alley with a whiskey bottle in his pocket like Lawler says. And when you talk about a man that's been gone now for 15 years, a man who still to this day is a household word, then you've got to be the lowest, the dirtiest, rottenest individual that ever drew a breath of air. And Jerry, I'm saying it to you because I'll take care of you. You don't ever say anything like that about my daddy. When I was younger, there was 3 meals a day on the table. I had good, clean clothes every day. I went to school. I went to church with my dad every Sunday. That's one thing he would never do is wrestle on Sunday. He wanted to take me and Mom to church. Well, you don't say things like that about my dad, ever. Because I don't care where it's at, Lawler. I don't care what it happens to be, the time of day or whatever. If I see you on the street, I'll go to jail, yes. Because I'm going to tear into you like a wildcat,
Yes, Richard,
man, like
he
a
ended up
chicken on a
being a
June
truck
bug. Can
driver.
you understand it? You said things that hurt real deep. And there's thousands and thousands and millions of people who still know and remember of Gorgeous George. And what a great man he was. I remember I went to a match with him one time, and there was some black folks standing by the back of the door where he walked in. And they said, hello, Mr. George. They called him Mr. George. He says, what are you doing back here? Well, we don't have any money to get in. He said, here. He went into his pocket and pulled the money out and laid it right on him. Right there. They went around front and bought a ticket and went in to see him. That's what a great man he is, and you don't ever say something about him.
You know, let me, can I interject something here?
I believe that's the video. So I wanted to go with Michael anyway, and let's just go ahead and go with Michael.
Well, just real quick, did you see? I don't know who was producing at 13 then, but did you see what and you know, the WWE didn't start doing this till way into their existence, but they took that shot, that 2-shot of Lance and George when he said it and got serious, and they got in close on him.
Yeah.
And you saw every emotion in his face, which sold the interview. He's a great talker to begin with, but the emotion of his face I was sitting here thinking, I believe what this guy's saying. And I think that's what it did to the fans. How often do you even, I think outside of maybe The Rock and maybe one or two others we can come up with in this day and time, don't have that emotion that's the face sells it as much as the voice sells it. That's my point.
Had you ever seen that video before, Mike?
I had. I'd seen that. I had seen that before. And also, one of the other things that came to mind, there was a list of wrestlers. We can start with Gorgeous George Jr., Jack Donovan. Help me out here. Nature Boy Buddy Landell and so forth and so on. If you watch their interviews and you watch the old Gorgeous George interviews, they model themselves after Gorgeous George. And I think that's a spot of history too. Also a debate for another show, just an idea. Bigger star for professional wrestling to bring it into the mainstream. Gorgeous George in the 50s, Hulk Hogan in the 80s. Who was bigger? That's all I got to say.
George. But we'll do that. We'll do that on a different show for sure. And that's a brilliant idea. Pat, have you ever seen that video? And was that not a textbook example of how to pull at people's emotion and take a heel when he walked out and switching babyface was perfect?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, I was kind of, once he got into it, I was kind of drawn into it, and I had never seen that before, and I've never seen a lot of George Jr. other than in the ring. I mean, that guy, he pulled you in, no question about that.
Why did he get out of the business and become a truck driver? Did he get hurt?
I think he just got older, and the wrestling business changed. Some of the territory wrestlers didn't buy in, and he might have been too old at the time anyway.
Well, he was 40 right there.
Right.
And then Gorgeous George would have sued him for using the name.
I heard that too. Yeah, I had heard that too. Guys, thumbs up segment from both of you?
Absolutely.
Also a big deal that happened in 1977. I'm playing this video for Adam more than anybody because he is so, as we talk about, into stuff on TV. He's having audio or issues with the internet today. I wish he would be able to come in and give his opinion of this from Channel 13, which is different. There's not a lot of Channel 13 stuff out there at all. Not a lot of Channel 13 stuff out there at all. This is also from 1976, building the June 21st, Jerry Lawler against, billed as a boxer, a sparring mate of George Foreman. This is the setup to the Lawler Rocky Johnson, but we have a 4 or 5 minute Dave Brown Channel 13 weather forecast leading to a Charlie B. Watson. Remember Charlie B., the sportscaster at Channel 13, leading to the setup, the promo on the news at the time, Channel 13, the #1 rated television station in Memphis, and at the time it was a ABC affiliate. It's 5 minutes and 56 seconds, and folks, we got weather coming in tonight, and they had weather. We'll see what the weather was in Memphis in 1976 as we play this 5 minutes 56 seconds with a Dave Brown forecast, just because I'm a mark for Dave Brown. Let's watch.
The atmosphere, so we put it on here to show that it is in fact there, and it is affecting weather. Some pretty big thunderstorms happening down in northern Georgia.
How about that weather, Matt?
Of southeast Tennessee.
Michael.
Also, the effects of this thing has been
old
pulling
green
moisture
screen.
up from the
Old green screen
around it all the way back
that
to
is
Ohio,
amazing.
Indiana, into Illinois, and dropping
Nothing
down even into
digital here,
southeast
folks.
Missouri and northwestern Tennessee. Up east of Jackson, Tennessee, a few moments ago, there were reports of some pretty good thunderstorms, and it looks like this is going to be a possibility for tonight, that there will be a few thunderstorms thunderstorms in the northern portions of the Channel 13 viewing area. However, in the city at points south and west, we don't expect any problem. Just partly cloudy skies tonight, and again tomorrow partly sunny. High pressure centered over Missouri is helping out. It's helping to keep some of that activity out of here, and should be moving to the east. The low will be weakening, and by tomorrow, the entire Mid-South area ought to be in pretty good shape. Another cold front back in the Midwest. There's a low pressure center in central South Dakota. Cold front runs through that all the way back out to Nevada. Not much happening in association with this front, but we'll see on the satellite picture in just a minute. There were little thunder showers dotting the area of western Kansas and western Nebraska today. Today it's quite hot out in the desert southwest, Arizona, New Mexico. Some temperatures reaching up to around 110 degrees, and just the heat out there kind of set off.
Look at his suit, Pat.
Back behind the frontal system, there's high pressure, pretty good weather in the northwestern part of the country. Let's look at the satellite. A couple of interesting things on there. First, down in Tennessee and northern Georgia, Alabama border area, right through here. You can kind of see a little difference in the clouds there. Looks almost like mountains being shot. That's some of those pretty tall thunderstorms, up to 50,000 feet tall, that were rumbling through that area late this morning and early this afternoon. Some small hail was reported down in the Chattanooga area. And this low pressure area, again, we do not have it drawn in here, but it's over central Tennessee, pulling up behind this frontal system, winding down through Illinois and Indiana, and just barely kicking down into southeast Missouri and northern part of West Tennessee. That's what all this clouds is all about there, so it looks like that's what it's going to be tonight. More clouds in the northern portions of the area, and the chance for a few showers north and east of the city. Generally, though, tomorrow skies should be partly sunny. Right now, our temperatures range from 79 in Tupelo and Parksdale and Dyersburg to a high of 82 degrees over in Jonesboro.
I got 90 seconds and you're done.
Memphis. Overnight tonight, we do expect partly cloudy
and
skies.
This was a 30-minute newscast, wasn't it, in 1976?
Oh, yeah,
definitely. The wind's variable at 6. Then tomorrow, partly sunny skies, the high 85, wind southeast at about 12 miles per hour. 5-day forecast looks pretty good. We're calling for partly sunny skies, high of 85 tomorrow. On Wednesday, sunny and 88 degrees. Thursday, sunny and 90. Friday and Saturday, partly sunny each day, the high 90 on Friday, Saturday high 88, and there will be an increasing chance Friday and Saturday for the late afternoon and early evening thunder showers, even though probabilities are going to remain pretty low each day. So,
can't beat that.
That's right. For this time of year, everything's great.
Nice weekend.
I think so. You know, this is the longest day of the year.
2 day?
I think so. Yes, that's right. And Arthur Ashe took
This
most of the play.
June 21st.
He sure did, Dave. He opened defense of the Wimbledon Tennis Championship today.
A little bit of sport from Charlie B.
Fellow American
on Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
Dick Stockton, Charlie Passerell, Guillermo Vilas, John Newcomb, Tom Ocker, and Adriano Panetta. Jerry Page, who won the U.S. Open yesterday. Jerry Lawler, the National Wrestling Alliance Southern Heavyweight Champion, and Rocky Johnson, a well-ranked boxer and former sparring partner of George Foreman, will meet at the Coliseum tonight in the wrestling card's main event. The match will be contested under a specially created set of rules involving both boxing and wrestling. WHBQ's Stu Robb helped conduct a preliminary weigh-in this afternoon here at WHBQ. Lawler tipped the scales at 225 pounds, and Johnson weighed in at 247 pounds. There will be 15 3-minute rounds with a 1-minute rest period between rounds. Johnson will be boxing wearing 8-ounce gloves, while Lawler will wrestle wearing no gloves. And from the conversation with the two contestants in our studio today, both felt confident of victory tonight.
Have you made any special preparations for this match or bout?
Well, yeah, I've been working over some wrestlers and letting them grab on me because he's going to be trying to catch me. And I realize he's a wrestler. If he takes me off my feet, I'm going to be in trouble. But I think I'm bigger than he is. I'm stronger than he is. And I know one thing. I can hit harder than he can. And that's exactly what I intend to do.
Do you think it's going to go 15 rounds?
Ain't no way in the world because I don't think he can last 15 rounds. He's lucky if he lasts 5. I'll make a prediction. I'll say 5 or 6 rounds because I'm going to play with him for 3 or 4. Then I won't feel him out in 5 and knock him out in 6.
Gary, this will be your first outing against the boxer. Are you taking this fight seriously?
Just as serious as a heart attack, Charlie. I'm gonna prove a point once and for all. The question's been going around a long time: who could win between a boxer and a wrestler? I'm gonna make everybody realize that there's no athlete in the world that can compare with a wrestler.
How active have you been the past couple of weeks?
I've had several matches this past couple of weeks, and also training for the match, and I'm just looking forward to it because I heard that Johnson's been shooting his mouth off a lot, and I'm going to shut him up tonight.
Johnson has been quite successful as a boxer, and he can punch, but can Jerry Lawler take a punch?
I can take a punch with the best of them. I take bare fist punch, and it's gonna be easy for me to have a little padding around it for a change, Charlie.
Take your pick. That's tonight at the Coliseum. I'll have more sports tonight at 10.
Still to come on Eyewitness News, what we think you ought to know about fire. Both the Communists and the Christian Democrats claim victory in today's election in Italy. And a final story with a twist on hula hoops.
So, Michael, we'll start with you first. How big was that for them to spend 4 minutes on the evening news to promote a wrestling event that would be that later on that night at the Mid-South Coliseum? What were your thoughts on that whole presentation?
Well, first of all, I think it was a smart thing to do on Pat. And you got to remember, Lance Russell was the program director of Channel 13 at this time.
Right.
So I think it's smart because it's one hand shaking the other hand. Channel 13 is making money off the wrestling show on Saturday. Why wouldn't they want a big build-up for the main event for a wrestler versus a boxer at the Mid-South Coliseum on a Monday night? I mean, they're sharing promotion and they're playing off of each other, and it's a great marriage. My question is this. Was this in the timeline of things, and Pat, maybe you would be a little bit more clear on this, was this before or after Ali Inoki with the boxer wrestler?
I would say before, but I'm not positive.
I think it's after. I do. I think this is after, but I don't know. You would have to look, and I'm sure our audience will look it up and find out when was Ali Inoki.
And this was June the 21st, 1976.
76, right.
So if somebody can Google that for me real quick, and just overall, how much did that being on the news and the whole presentation, because it wasn't like it was on the wrestling show. It was for everybody to see, so a different audience, a lot of non-wrestling fans, a lot of wrestling fans as well. But how big a deal was that, Michael?
Oh, I think it's a big deal. And I think it shows what good promotion, when one shakes the other's hands and both benefit out of it, what good promotion on broadcast TV and broadcast radio is all about.
Pat, your thoughts?
To answer one question, Inoki and Ali fought June 26, 1976. So when is this?
Oh, 5 days later.
Sooner.
Okay.
Sooner or later.
Okay.
What was the date again?
June 26th.
Okay, so it was 5 days later. So it was being promoted because that was promoted for a long time, and I guess Memphis Wrestling jumped the shark and got it on first.
And that's the whole deal, Pat.
Yeah. Hey, Alexander. Thanks for saying hello. This is a little bit shocking to me, because you would never, ever see this on Birmingham television or Atlanta television or Chattanooga television that I have ever seen, ever thought about, Sterling Brewer was not the station manager, right, in Birmingham. And so Lance being able to get that on and give wrestling credibility, that's why Memphis is different. Everybody kept kayfabe all the way up the chain, and you don't see that anywhere else in America. I feel 100% confident of. So they sold that as an absolute shoot on a network TV station, right?
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah,
one thing, Pat, to your point, there were a couple of times in Nashville in the Goulas era that Channel 5 did reports, and then when Rudy Kalis became the sports director at Channel 4, they would do reports on wrestling, but nothing there to that degree, nothing to a 4-minute montage. And when I moved to St. Louis and talked to some of the folks up there and got to know Sam and Larry Matzik, apparently Channel 5, KPLR in St. Louis, who had Wrestling from the Chase, would do this on their newscast on a weekly basis, as far as reporting what was coming up at the Kiel Auditorium, and then what the results were. I know Memphis did results more so than any other. Now that I thought was really unique about Memphis. They reported results on the 10 o'clock sports more so than any other city in America.
And wrestling was so big, and that's why, Adam, go ahead and put the caption up there. We had a question of the week. Certainly, I am biased that it's the 70s, but if it's still up there, the caption of the week, there it is. The question of the day is, what is your favorite decade of Memphis wrestling? I said the 70s. Pat, what did you say last week?
I think I said the 70s as well.
Michael?
That's a tough call, and I'd really have to give some thought to it. I think from the establishment of what the territories and the territories especially we are talking about, without a doubt, I think it's the 70s. The late 60s had a good lead into it as well. But I think when you look at wrestling as a whole, I might want to throw the 80s, early 90s into it from a worldwide perspective. But damn, the 70s were good around here.
For sure. 1977, as Pat had something to say.
No, I did.
A lot of happening in 1977. The big split. Roy Watts and Nick Goulas ended up out of business because a young whippersnapper, Jerry Jarrett, took over. The big split of 77, the move to TV5 from July the 1st until into September. The classic part 1 of the Lawler-Dundee feud went to months and months and much. Also in 77, at the end of the year, Jimmy Valiant debuted as Lawler had retired after the Dundee-Lawler feud. Valiant retired, Valiant debuted, became the Southern Heavyweight Championship. Lawler returned as the babyface. And 1977 was a tremendous year. And so I thought one of the things that would be interesting to do is that there's a couple of more things from 76 as we're jumping around from 1976. We're jumping around. This is a 3-minute 15 seconds. Some people think it's campy. Some people think that it's too show business like. Some people think one of the participants was drunk, and that participant wasn't Jerry Lawler, and I don't believe the other one was as well. But this is a segment that Lance Russell wasn't at TV. This is from WHBQ. This is 3 minutes and 15 seconds, 3:15 on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
And I remember one of those visitors, a very special one from Gotham City, who we'll meet in just a moment. You're going to be in town all this weekend, is that correct?
Yes, I am, and thank you very much. I must apologize. I didn't have a ticket. Kids, don't do as I just did. I sneaked in because I'm on a case. And I'm working undercover. That's why I'm not wearing my complete outfit. Right. I wanted to be inconspicuous. I didn't want anyone to recognize me. But there is a rumor that Mr. Freeze and Penguin are here in Memphis because of the radical change in the weather, and that they have a hookup with the evil king of Memphis, who just might be wrestling here this morning.
Wait a minute.
James, I think 1970.
Is that who I think it is? Yes, it is.
Maybe the end of 77.
What does it look like?
Maybe.
Tell me, what does it look like? I heard he was going to be here today, so I dressed appropriately. That's what it is, the Super King. What else?
Okay, you say maybe you're going to be able to give us some help with this guy here. You're on the case, and I think we're going to need all the help we can get with the King.
Well, now, I've heard he's had his troubles with the Joker and the Penguin and Mr. Freeze, but he hadn't handled
this. This is in 1976. I don't know the
that I'm going to bring
date.
out here in just a few minutes that'll make a Joker look like Mickey Mouse. I can tell you that.
I've heard about your box, but I want to say that costume that you're wearing, if you are indeed the evil king of Memphis, has been stolen from a friend of mine.
No, it's not.
Superman.
78 or 79. By 78 or 79,
and
we would have been at Channel 5. It's 1976.
Would probably object to. By the way, looking at you, I don't think it's too late for you. I think it possibly, if you change some of your habits, some of your methods of wrestling, if you used your left and right turn indicator in your car, did other things that people normally do when they're polite and courteous, and you weren't such a naughty, mean person, it wouldn't be too late for you.
And I can see that you're not familiar with these rednecks that we have around here. That's exactly right. That's right.
I tell you what, gentlemen, I think like splendid people to me, and they're Bat fans. I know they are. And I think it's insulting to call them rednecks.
I think maybe we better settle this elsewhere. And again, both of you are going to be
at Dr. Frank in here anyway.
Both of you are going to be down at the Cook Convention Center at the car show all this weekend, and maybe you can settle it there. Badman, appreciate you coming by, and
thank you very much.
Hope you
He's
can
not
give
a
us
nice
with the
man,
king here. No, he is not. He has some nasty habits, as you say, and maybe he'll change some of
Yes,
them.
I feel that it's possible.
This is before it was called
that,
CWA. It was Studio
we could
Wrestling.
help rehabilitate him, possibly in Gotham.
Rehabilitating in Gotham State Prison. Let's think all the celebrity involvement now. That was a celebrity. What did you think of that segment, Pat? Was that too over the top?
No, but how did they get the guy to come? I mean, I understood he was in town for a Comic-Con or something like that, but I mean, how did I guess they cut him a check or something. I don't know. I've never seen that anywhere else.
I bet he didn't get paid a dime. Mr. Coffee was involved in the wrestling promotion as a big wrestling fan from the convention center on, from the Ellis Auditorium on. He was a manager of Cook. That boat show was at Cook Convention Center. And so that was a deal where they could use the television show and they could sell it to the car show people as, hey, this is the top rated show in Memphis and we'll plug your car show. And certainly, Lawler ate the Batman thing up. What did you think about that segment, Pat?
I thought it was about as shoot as it could be. I mean, I don't know what to say. Batman comes and he's shooting on Lawler and he's trying to straighten him out, and Lawler's sitting there being the smirky heel, if you will.
So that's a prime example of that video, folks, that we just played. Pat Trammell, Michael St. John, Adam Dunn, and myself just played. Memphis was ahead of its time. So we've talked about it before, Michael. We think we all like to watch that. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, let me throw the kayfabe away. Let me shoot on this. When a radio station or a TV station will do a promotion with an event that's coming to town, or like we did today, perfect example. Today, after I got off the morning show, I had an interview to do with the guy that is the head marketer for Soaky Mountain Water Park in Sevierville, Tennessee. They gave us 100 tickets to give away for summer. And we run some commercials for them. We give their tickets away. But part of the deal is they wanted to do a live interview. I taped it for a future morning show. It's part of the deal. Again, Lance Russell is the program director at WHBQ Channel 13. Right. And so if the Comic-Con, as Pat referred to it, is buying advertising from Channel 13, you got a sales guy that comes in and says, hey, the Comic-Con's in town. What's the chance of getting Batman on camera here? And Lance immediately thinks, well, heck, why can't we put him on wrestling with the deal with Lawler? He goes to the promoter and says, we got Batman. If you want Batman, we can have him come on the wrestling show. All of a sudden, there's a segment that sells the Comic-Con, sells Batman, and sure to heck sells Jerry Lawler as a heel. Perfection. That's beauty. That's when anytime you can do a promotion where, again, both sides benefit, that's magic.
Randy, was at this time were they showing, was the wrestling show on Saturday morning?
Saturday morning, 11 to 12:30 on Channel 13.
Okay.
This was roughly 11 months before the big split. The big split happened in March of 1977. Now, to continue with and end our segment on 1976, I want to show This Memphis wrestling was so innovative, and I hadn't watched this in years. This was a deal they did in 1976. That was a Christmas special. It was a pre-taped deal. It is 14 minutes, 32 seconds. And by the way, before I get to that, D. Davis for mayor says, my first time seeing the King and Batman in the program, in a promo, and they did it right. Batman was Batman, the King, the wrestler, a gimmick shoot promo match that was great. And as somebody said, Batman didn't wrestle. It was all verbal and it made sense. Now we'll go to 14 minutes and 32 seconds. That's a long video for this show. And Michael will jump in and Pat will jump in with comments. Anytime you guys want to come out of the video and make a comment, just call for it, and Adam will make that happen. 14:32 we watch now on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Have some fun today on our special Christmas wrestling show, and we took the liberty of moving over to the living room where we could sit and share with you some of the moments of Christmas that.
What kind of microphone is that, Michael?
In this special. In addition to the
That's an early lavalier microphone before they miniaturized them and put them on your lapel. That's definitely 70s.
From the ring in their homes. Mike Duncan was kind enough to make the visit to various homes.
Wow, Mike Duncan reference. That's cool.
So
nephew of Kristen Jarrett.
Yamamoto's thoughts on Christmas shared with you. Let's go with Mike Duncan.
Really good guy too.
Tojo, we've talked all day long to different individuals about what Christmas means to them. You're a single man. Of course, there's no children. What does Christmas mean to Tojo Yamamoto?
Well, Christmas means a lot to me. Especially I'm in the United States and I'm only the boy in the family, so my parents consider me as the baby yet, you know, because when you're far away, and if I was in Japan, I'll be enjoying my Christmas. But right now in the United States, I'm single, and during all my time of Christmas, I like to spend my time with children because I don't have any children, but see, I like to wish all the young babies very, very Merry Christmas, because see, some children can have a happy Christmas and some children cannot have a Christmas because they don't have parents and some difficulties. But I tell you what, I want to thank all the Memphis fans and also the St. Jude Hospital for the children and also for the Cripple Hospital for the children. I want to wish all the children a Merry, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay, Tojo, there are an awful lot of fans of yours in Memphis. You got anything you'd like to say to them in particular?
Yes, I want to say to all my Memphis fans that since I came to the United States and I wrestled in Memphis and they backed me up 100% till the time I came to Memphis till now, and I want to wish the Memphis fan, all wrestling Memphis fan, a Merry, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. In Japanese, they say, Omedetou gozaimasu. Merry Christmas and Omedetou gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, Tojo.
I think I can safely speak for all the fans around this area, Tojo. They wish you a Merry Christmas, too. Tojo Yamamoto and his thoughts of Christmas. So, there's Jerry Lawler. There's a guy that Lawler knows very well, as a matter of fact. He is relatively new to the area, but not new to the sports world. We're talking about a gentleman that came up from Houston, Texas, Rocky Johnson, with his wife, Ada, and his son, Dewey.
Rocky Johnson and his family. Rocky, it's nice to be here and be able to visit with you and your family.
Thank you, Mike.
That's The Rock, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd like to introduce
That's
you to
The Rock.
Ada. This is my son, Dewey.
Rocky, Christmas has a special meaning to everybody. Could you tell me just exactly what all it means to you?
Well, it's very special to me because I get a chance to be home with my family. Mike, you know, I'm on the road probably 350 or 60 days a year. I'm all over the country, and I can come home and enjoy it with my family. I really look forward to Christmas. Christmas is very special to me and my family both.
I can understand that. I imagine it is good having Rocky here with you. Dewey, I bet you can't wait to open up that package canyon.
What? You want to open your Christmas present? Yeah, Christmas.
Well,
amazing.
I'm sure all the fans in Memphis would like to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And is there anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, Mike,
Rock
we
wore a
should,
skirt to the
Memphis
Met
is
Gala
not moving
last
away
night
from
in New
home.
York
People
City.
in Memphis are fantastic.
Really?
So I just want to take this opportunity to wish them all
Yeah.
a Merry Christmas
He
and
said
Happy New
real
Year.
men can
I'm
wear
definitely gonna be
skirts,
looking forward
which
to
was an
seeing
interesting quote
this
for a
Monday
guy
night.
that's
Thank you,
now
Rocky, for letting us
head of
visit
the
at home.
WWE, or owns the
Rocky
WWE part of
Johnson,
it.
a super athlete, I'll tell you for a fact. Former professional boxer now, a great professional wrestler, and delighted to see Rocky with his family. He has said Memphis is his home away from home. Rocky, a Houston, Texas boy, and we're glad to have him up in this area. And a Merry Christmas to Rocky and his entire family from all the fans also. One of the guys that I know that a lot of you girls are interested in finding about his Christmas is Billy Superstar Dundee. Well, Bill has got some wishes for Christmas, just like all of us, and I think it might be interesting for us to find out exactly if Billy were making up a list, what his Christmas wish would be.
Any one of the three will do now. And I'm counting on it. Don't forget now.
This is a little campy.
You think?
Rub your hands together.
Boy, Dundee looks young there.
Christmas of 76. Hey! That was the future Miss Bobby Eaton. That was Donna Dundee Eaton that came out of the box.
Show and studio wrestling, and having kind of our Christmas wrestling special here. The regular wrestling will be in the Coliseum on Monday night, and I did want to give you the full card. The box office will be open all day on Monday, and quite a card indeed. There's several different and unusual matches on there. Opening up at 8 o'clock will be Nick Adams, and he'll be going against Tough Pork Chop Cash. Pork Chop Cash and Nick Adams for openers. A big tag match with Jim Dillon and Don Bass teaming together, and Rick Gibson will be teaming up with Bearcat Brown to go against Dillon and Don Bass. Then, a most unusual match, and I always get a kick out of seeing the big 7-foot plus, 600-pound plus Gentleman Ben, the wrestling bear. This has got to be, and we've seen a lot of wrestling bears in 21 years of wrestling commentary, the greatest I've ever seen. Never seen a bear that could go with the mares and the throws and the pins and everything else. And none other than a future champion, according to General Lawler, Private Buddy Diamond will be in there against Gentleman Ben. For you folks who have seen him, you'll be there. And you folks that haven't, you got to see the gentleman who has never been beaten when it comes to wrestling. Texas Tornado Death Match follows that. Got to be one of the most dangerous kind. A big match, too. David Schultz and Dutchman Mantell will be in there. The Dutchman will be going with David Schultz against Billy Superstar Dundee and Tommy Gilbert. Now, this is where falls don't count. It is a battle to the finish till one of them cannot continue and answer the bell. And, well, I think a lot of you folks around here know the story of Texas Tornado Death Match. We had one that went to about 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be some kind of a battle. Schultz, Mantell, Dundee, Gilbert. Then, in a return tag match, once again, Jerry Lawler is going to be teaming up with a Mongolian Stomper, and they will be going against Rocky Johnson and the fabulous Jackie Fargo. Now, the one thing about this one, no time limit, no disqualification. There won't be any bout stopping in there or anything like that. There's going to be a winner in there, so it should be a big, big night, Monday night at the Coliseum, and the Coliseum will be open all day on Monday for advance ticket sales. Oh, well, one of the fellas that I know that it would not be complete if we had a Christmas show and visited some of the wrestlers without having him on, and the very specially interest that he has. And the folks around Memphis, of course, is the fabulous Jackie Fargo. We don't get to see as much of Jackie as we would like to, but we do get to see him at this Christmas time.
Mike, that was Dundee's daughter, Donna, who later married
I've got the Christmas spirit.
Bobby Eaton.
This Christmas morning, I tell you, I'm just
I'll be darned, same living room that Bill Dundee has.
Right. Isn't that a coincidence?
Take time and wish each and every one of you in Memphis and all the surrounding a very happy and a very Merry Christmas. And
Not only this year, but all the years in the past. You've been so wonderful to me. I've wrestled there in Memphis for like 12, 15 years, and I've been very successful. And I owe it all to the fine folks there, and it's certainly a pleasure to get the opportunity to wish you this Merry Christmas. And I certainly hope that you do have a very Merry Christmas. And remember, believe in Santa Claus. I still do, and you kids be sure and do that too. I have with me, I'm a bachelor, and my daughter's up from California visiting with me, little Jackie May. Some of you might remember there years ago when she was just a little girl in California. We're going to have a Merry Christmas, aren't we, darling?
You sure are.
This is a sweet little girl. She's in California now, but she's going to be with me over the holidays. But we're certainly looking forward to a very Merry Christmas, and I certainly want to wish each and every one of you a very, very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year's, all except you, Lawler. Bah humbug.
Come on, Jackie. Is that really the Christmas spirit now? What is that? I understand that at least he does think about Santa Claus. As a matter of fact, he does more than just think about Santa Claus. He actually sits down and takes pen in hand sometimes.
Well, it's Christmas time again. Here I am writing to you. I've been a good boy all year long.
He scratched that out.
Well, anyway, what I want this Christmas is a really good wrestling partner. Somebody really strong, big, mean, and tough. Somebody really unbeatable. Thanks a lot, King. That's good. Where's my letter? All right, Santa came through for me again, my man. Let's see what I got here. Whoa, wait a minute!
You knew it!
Wait, Santa, this is not what I had in mind. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute.
In case you were having some problems there, the one without the pants was the gorilla. That's the identification you needed on that. One person in our Wrestling Christmas special that wanted to take a particular opportunity to say hello to all of the folks in this area is promoter Nick Goulas. We've been associated for quite some time, and Nick would like to take this opportunity to express his Christmas wishes to you.
Good morning, everybody. A lot of you fans that don't know me, I am Nick Goulas, promoter for wrestling here at the Mid-South Coliseum for the matches every Monday night. The reason I want to take this opportunity to wish each and every one of you people here in the Memphis area and the surrounding part of the country a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. I want all you fans to know that y'all have made Memphis one of the greatest wrestling towns in the world. And I mean by that, it is the greatest wrestling city in the world, including New York City and Chicago.
Mike, it was a real life view that time.
Memphis has drawn every city in the world because it outdraws everything. Because of you people supporting wrestling, and we're bringing the world's greatest wrestlers here to Memphis. That's why Memphis is one of the greatest wrestling towns in the world. A lot of this credit goes to WHBQ-TV, Lance Russell, Dave Brown, Bubba Bland.
Santa Claus in there. I want to get him in here right
Cut
now
Nick off.
because I have been looking forward to the special Christmas show so that we get Jerry Lawler
You don't
in
have to get up, Lance. Just keep your seat.
I really didn't have any intention of getting up. I just wanted you to come in here, and I want you to take the opportunity, Jerry, enough of this stuff, and say Merry Christmas to everybody out here. That's what I want.
That's what you brought me out here for?
Yeah, this
well,
is
I
a
can
Christmas
leave then
special.
because I'm not here to wish anybody a Merry Christmas. I don't have anything to be merry about. You saw me ask for my crown. I still don't have my crown. I got a crown and a belt to get back.
Okay.
And I'm here today to wrestle. You don't have a ring set up. I'm looking
Hey, listen, that's enough. That's enough.
Is he not channeling his best Ali
why don't you
right
go out
there?
and join him right now? We got a Christmas special going.
Well,
so
I'll tell you
just...
what, you better get this ring set up around here. You realize
Why
what
don't
time
you
it
get
is. It's
some
getting late.
decent clothes
The people
on,
want
too,
to see
for
wrestling.
Christmas show in there. All right, that's enough of it. Go out
Get
and
the
some...
ring set up. I mean it.
You get some decent clothes on in there, and we can carry on a Christmas special.
Have one wish, and if I could have one wish that would come true.
Watch this.
Thank you very much there, Davey. We're going to be back in just a little bit with some more.
All right,
really good...
Banana, hold it up here now. I got something
here we
I
go.
want to say to you.
Wait
Put
a minute,
that
Lawler.
microphone over here now. Wait a minute. Don't give me any of that stuff, Banana Nose. I want that microphone over here because I got something to say.
Well, wait a minute,
All
Lawler.
you people have been... Now, listen. I have listened to you tell these lies about me and all of these things.
And that is the video that was absolutely sensational. And that was the 1976 Christmas. That was just unbelievable. We'll start with you, Pat. In Birmingham, did you ever see a Christmas show in Birmingham wrestling? And have you ever seen, I'm sure you have, I'm sure we've showed some of it before, not that much. What did you think?
I've seen pieces of it, and I do remember Nick coming on and wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, but nothing like going through the roster or anything like that. That was good stuff. I would have loved to have seen the match with, who was it, Lawler and Archie Goldie against Rocky Johnson and somebody.
Tommy Gilbert, wasn't it?
Tommy Rich, maybe.
Tommy Rich, maybe.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that match.
Michael, what did you think? And were you a part of any wrestling television shows along those lines?
No, not really. I mean, there were segments done for Christmas, obviously, and a lot of, wrestling shows in the territories. Christmas night was a big wrestling night because people would have already done the thing with the family, that eaten a big meal, whatever. And at night, they're like, we got nothing to do. Big wrestling match. So Christmas night, I know Nashville ran Christmas quite a bit on Christmas night. And so, that was a big take. But no, I'd never. The great thing about that show, and we've seen it before on this program, is it was entertaining. I mean, it was a little campy. It was a little funny. It was a little serious. It was very entertaining.
Absolutely. Talking Memphis wrestling. We are still talking about the 70s. We'll probably talk about the 70s next week because I don't think we'll get through all this. It's time for part one of our photos of the week. And Adam, we're looking at toward the top, maybe two graphics after the second Talking Memphis Wrestling graphic. It is 5573. We're doing this in two segments. So Adam, if you can go ahead and push up 5573 if you can't do it. And Adam having some production difficulties today. He's in a hotel, and I don't even know where 5573, and it looks like Adam can't find that, and he did find that, and we'll go with Michael St. John.
Tojo Yamamoto and Big Bad John. That's a great picture of both of them. And Tojo in great shape, and of course, Big Bad John. What is it? The bicentennial baby. Great picture.
Yeah.
Pat?
Good to see Tojo smiling like that. I like that.
Next picture. This is from 1974. This is Thomas Marlin in the referee gear. This is not from 74. This was for the Southern title, Lawler and Jack Briscoe in 1977. Michael, this is Jerry Lawler, Tommy Marlin, and Jack Briscoe. Your thoughts?
Great shot of Lawler getting out of the way of Briscoe. I want to say I was on Tommy Marlin Highway the other day, coming back from Kentucky, the Thomas Marlin Highway in Sumner County, Tennessee.
Pat?
Briscoe and Lawler, when Briscoe was world champion, was a great, great match.
We showed that a couple of months ago, no doubt about it. Next picture on Talking Memphis Wrestling. How about this one, Pat?
The fabulous one, Tojo and Jerry Jarrett, a young Jerry Jarrett.
The little man, there's three baby faces there. Which one of those three men, Michael, do you think the teenage wrestling fans, the girls, the teenage wrestling fans, who do you think they'd like out of the three of these guys, Michael?
Out of that picture, it's definitely Jerry Jarrett. But at one time, Fargo had a big following with the ladies.
No doubt about it. Next picture is kind of a neat little graphic I wanted to show you right now. And this is Wrestling Legends. And this is a list of AWA World Heavyweight Champions. This says at the top left, Pat O'Connor, longtime champion and owner, Vern Gagne, Gene Kiniski, Mr. M, who I don't have a clue who he is, The Crusher, Fritz Von Erich, Mad Dog Vachon, Mighty Igor, Dick the Bruiser, Dr. X, the great Nick Bockwinkel, who won the title in 1975, German Otto Wanz, Japanese hero Jumbo Tsuruta, Rick Martel, Stan Hansen. We have Kurt Hennig, Jerry Lawler, Larry Zbyszko, Mr. Saito, all these former AWA World Heavyweight Champion. Again, at the bottom is Kurt Hennig, Jerry Lawler, Larry Zbyszko, and Mr. Saito. As we lose the graphic there, comments about AWA champions Pat Trammell.
Some I recognize, some obviously it looks like that's in chronological order. Obviously, I never saw. I've seen Vern Gagne do some. I've seen Vern Gagne on film. A lot of those guys I've never seen. But as you get to the bottom, best one of those, Nick Bockwinkel.
Without a doubt. Can we get that graphic back up again for a second?
Yeah, let's see if Adam is still with us. If not, I can do it. And Adam is still around, thank God. Go ahead, Michael.
My point being, you look at the early days and right about to the time of Bockwinkel, but from like Jumbo Tsuruta on, look at all those players or all those wrestlers that went on to the WWE. That when Vern kept the title on himself too much. Everybody says that about Minnesota wrestling, and that's probably true. But think of all the talent that went to Vince. Vince gutted gutted AWA when you think about it. Martel, Stan Hansen, Kurt Hennig, Lawler, Larry Zbyszko. Kurt Hennig. You look at it all. Look at Mr. Saito. Rick Martel. They all ended up in WWE. So really, when you look at the early creation of the WWE under Vince McMahon Jr., he stole from all the territories. They're signed players from all the territory, free agents, if you would. But he really gutted AWA. And had he not taken all that talent, do you think AWA would have survived under Greg Gagne and some other folks as well?
So a couple of things is that Richard Hood and Bo James has both said that Mr. M was Dr. Bill Miller. So that's interesting to know.
He was a big star in the Midwest. I know he was from Columbus, I believe, Ohio. He was huge in the Midwest back in the 60s and 70s.
Adam, skip because we backtracked. Let's skip to 5580. 5580, a few pictures down from where, or to the side of where we was, and Larry Zbyszko did work for the WWF, was the protege of Bruno Sammartino, and turned on him and a major angle, and they drew a ton of money, and no doubt about it, Michael.
Just real quick, didn't Bruno train Larry, or weren't they cousins or something?
I don't know if they were cousins, but he did train him to be a wrestler. Yeah, no doubt about it. This next picture is something I don't remember, guys. Pat, do you? Mongolian Stomper being managed by Big Al Green.
I don't know. I don't remember that. I know. What year do you think that was?
I would guess maybe 75 or 76. Do you have any idea, Michael?
No, I would have it. My dating would be a little bit later than that, maybe, but I would say late 70s, mid to late 70s. Yeah.
I don't think Al Green, once the big split, I don't think Al Green worked for Jerry Jarrett, and I could be wrong about that as well. And here's the picture for Jackie Fargo and the Bounty Hunter, and we'll Adam, remember this when we pick up in part 2 of our segment on the pictures of the week. We have 2 parts today. We'll pick
By
up.
the way, not to interrupt, but I'm interrupting. I apologize. That's at the old Madison County Coliseum here in Huntsville.
Oh, is that right?
Look at the roof.
Yeah. What is it? What do you call that roof, Michael?
It's like a like they did with the military. It was a like a Quonset hut.
Quonset hut. Yeah.
Very interesting, as we are rolling around, just about 40 minutes left in the show, and a gentleman from Fort Smith, Arkansas is here and spending time with us, and I appreciate that very much as well. We'll be back in a few minutes as we will continue our pictures. We want to go with 2 more videos. This is from after the split happened. This is the first video today from Channel 5. This is started off as the Jerry Lawler and Jimmy Hart was hosting a Legend of Memphis Wrestling segment. We start with that. It's a 10-minute segment. This is Lawler against a very young rookie, Paul Orndorff. This is 10 minutes in discussion, in 10 minutes in length, and we'll watch now on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Again, as Adam is in a motel room somewhere, and I don't know when he's on or when he's off, a 10-minute segment, and I apologize for that. And Adam apparently is having issues in finding it, and so I will find it myself. And now we will watch Lawler and Paul Orndorff on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Welcome back. Opening the vault on Classy too.
Easy for you to say.
Classy and classic Memphis Wrestling.
You know,
Welcome back.
You know, one of the great
vault
things
on
about the classic.
Classy too.
Easy for you to say.
Classy and classic Memphis Wrestling.
You know, one of the great things about the classic Memphis Wrestling days is the fact that a lot of great talent made their first appearances in the wrestling world here in Memphis.
That's right.
I remember guys like Ricky Gibson. You know, nobody had ever even heard of this young guy, and he comes in here and makes a big name for himself. Another guy that we're going to be seeing here in a minute, Paul Orndorff.
Started right here.
He became, of course, Mr. Perfect, Paul Orndorff, big, huge mega star. But he
That's
had
wrong.
Matches right here in Memphis, and he was very impressive even in those days.
He was.
Wasn't Mr. Perfect.
He had very athletic
No,
look.
that was Kurt Hennig.
And looked like he could come in and then pretty well clean out.
Hart will correct.
Jimmy, athletic
He was
feet.
Mr. Wonderful.
What?
Yeah.
Is that Corey?
when Mr. Wonderful finds out that you called him Mr. Perfect instead of Mr. Wonderful, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Oh, you're right. Mr. Perfect was Kurt Hennig. I'm sorry. It was Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful, that's right.
Golly. Even the king makes a mistake.
Jimmy hard to tell him. That's how he'll
You
find
know
out.
I will.
Oh, yeah, right. He's
I
way
bet down. you're going to call him.
Yeah, he's weighing wherever. And
I'm going to talk to him later on today.
Well, first, before we call him, why don't we take a little look at him in action? Great. This was a match between myself and Mr. Wonderful before he was so wonderful, and this footage will prove that.
Beautiful. Being perfect, too.
Yeah. It's okay with everybody, right?
I checked. The promoter said if Paul Orndorff is the one to decide.
That's Lance Russell and Clay Conrad in the early days of Channel 5 Wrestling, Michael.
Okay. Then
this was right after Lance got there.
Idiot. Now let me show all you rednecks out there what wrestling is all about. I'm going to show you how long it takes to beat somebody when somebody's
Michael
really trying to
was
beat them. So you just keep
because
your eyes
Richard
glued on
says this, and we'll let you comment. He says Randy wrestling on Channel 5 looks better than Channel 13. Your comment.
No, I agree with him, but it even got better than this. This is one of the early weeks. The curtains, they moved the curtains behind the entire crowd. And if you notice, there's a lot more people on the far side of the ring on the camera shot than there was at Channel 13. The studio was a lot bigger at 5 than it was at 13.
Thing that I question about Paul, he is young. Lawler.
Pat, have you ever seen this match from 1977?
I have not.
Just finished the match. Lawler takes him out and over the shoulder and down. There's that big knee drop right across the what appeared to be the throat to me. Count of one. And Orndorff kicks his way out. Lawler thought he had himself a less than a 1-minute win over Paul Orndorff. And Paul's saying something to referee Paul Morton. Orndorff circling him. He wasn't the least bit afraid to climb right in there with Lawler. I'm not certain of the wisdom of doing it. But Lawler back on the ropes. The referee calls for a clean break, and he gets one. Don't tell me you're complaining about that little tap as he pushed himself away, Lawler. Standing side headlock.
It always got me when Lawler in his early days would wrestle chewing gum.
Right.
Mr. Lawler not doing too well as a teacher. He was going to teach
Appreciate everybody watching, talking Memphis Wrestling on behalf of Adam, Michael, and Pat. We appreciate you guys.
Instead of trying to put on a show and impress the girls, as Lawler put it, Orndorff showing him while he
And Pat, before we go on, let me say I'm very proud of that hat you're wearing. That's my favorite Alabama logo.
Mine too. Absolutely.
Jerry Lawler, though, has tremendous stamina. We've said that 1,000 times, but it's true.
Now, this is the rookie year of Paul Orndorff. Man, he can go, Michael.
Did you see him pick him up?
Very strong, very strong.
Lawler moaning about his
Notice that Lance isn't letting Clay say a lot.
A beautiful move and a display of strength that this Orndorff has.
At this time, Lance knew the day would be saved in just a couple of weeks when Dave would return. Or debut on Channel 5.
Catches him. And it
Referee Paul Morton, Pat.
Yep.
Lawler consulting with his ringside
The bald eagle.
attendant, Mickey Poole. He's probably saying, get the car warmed up. This guy's tougher than I thought. Paul Orndorff staying in. You notice that crouch. Orndorff stays low, ready to move. Lawler now drops on him.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. A rookie year wrestler is doing fantastic.
Now, he trained in Florida with Eddie Graham, right?
Yeah.
He did. He was a All-American football player at the University of Tampa when they had a real program. And I think hung around a couple of NFL teams.
Coming back hard. If Paul can just stay away from a mistake that many young wrestlers make, and that is thinking that he's got Lawler and leaving himself wide open, and on the break, Lawler tapped him, and Orndorff right back, out of way.
That is Mr. Wonderful in the future. That is Paul Orndorff in his rookie year. In the first year of Jarrett Promotions. This is 1977.
He pounds Lawler right back after Lawler had hit him on the ropes. Paul Orndorff on the left, Jerry Lawler on the right. Paul Morton, the referee. Lawler a little cautious. He has a perplexed look on his face, too. I think he thought because of the inexperience of Orndorff that it was going to be a snap. Oh, man, oh, man. Now, there's the typical Lawlerism.
Notice also that the turnbuckles are just covered with electrical, with silver tape.
Absolutely.
Good.
Good for those turnbuckles.
Warning him about the fist. Oh, man, oh, man.
This is a good match.
Almost put him out. He wheeled him into the ropes. And he caught Orndorff coming off with that foot. Paul in deep trouble now, deep trouble. Lawler goes to the ropes, typical Lawler fashion. Orndorff manages to get out of the way. Rolls him up, 1, 2, 3, he got it. How about
One of the few times you'll ever see Lawler get beat on TV.
Didn't happen much. This was 1977.
Jerry Lawler, furious.
People going crazy. Mickey Poole in the corner. Now we go heat afterwards.
Orndorff was in trouble.
Richard saying Pat, Paul Orndorff eventually signed with the New Orleans Saints. And I did not know that.
Paul getting separated in there. Lawler. Come on, Lawler. Nails Paul Orndorff after a pile driver. And Lawler goes right at him with that chair. Get him. Come on. Can we get somebody out here? Yeah. Here comes Ron Fuller out here. Get rid of this guy.
Wow.
Well, that's quite a finish there.
I think that he wasn't looking quite so wonderful when he's being carried out on the stretcher.
Let's go ahead and come out of that, Adam, if we
back here in
can.
Memphis, Tennessee. And by the way, guess who's on the phone right now? Hey, Mr. Wonderful, can you hear us?
Hey, Jimmy Hart, how you doing? Well, I tell you what, I've been hearing and seeing and people calling me. You're doing a great job up there in Memphis, especially that Memphis Classic Wrestling. Jimmy,
All right, a real short interview from Paul Orndorff. That segment. Pat, your thoughts on that match?
I mean, it was a very young Paul Orndorff. He spent a relatively good bit of time in Alabama, wrestling in Birmingham. He had a really good run here, and then he went over to Atlanta, and I think he had a feud in the early '80s with Buzz Sawyer, and ended up in New York. But had a really good career. The guy could really athletic.
If you noticed at the end of that match, Ron Fuller made the save. Well, then Ron Fuller took over Continental in an agreement with Jerry Jarrett. He had took over Mobile and the Continental thing, and he brought Orndorff to Mobile. And you're right, because there's some good tape with Paul Orndorff, young Paul Orndorff with Charlie Platt interviewing him that I've seen.
One more video left on today's Talking Memphis Wrestling. As I was running down 1977, we were talking about the tremendous Lawler and Dundee program, and one of the most interesting things is a short little clip from Channel 5. Adam, this is 1 minute, 5 seconds. 1 minute, 5 seconds. And if you could play that as our last video on Talking Memphis Wrestling, and we'll see if Adam's able to do that. And we'll give him a couple of seconds to find that. So now I will see if I can find it. This is quick. Don't.
Pressure was on him, like I said. The pressure was on Dundee so bad. The pressure was on Dundee so bad because he was thinking about waking up looking like a cue ball in the morning. You know, I told you about his old lady, this old haggy keeps home up in Nashville. She told him, she said, Bill Dundee, let me tell you something. Don't you come home if you lose that hair, because I don't want to ever see that ugly face with no hair on it. And hey, get out of here. Listen, get out of here. Hey, That's his old lady. That's Dundee's old lady right there. Look at that.
Dundee's old lady.
Look at that fool.
Listen to the people.
That is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Dundee has brought his old lady down here to fight his fight for him. Did you see that? Did you rednecks see that? Now, is that the greatest thing you've ever?
All right, that was classic. Had you ever seen that before, Mr. Trammell?
I have never seen that before. I know what that turned into, but that was great. That was great.
I'm glad you liked it. And how about you, Mr. St. John?
Yeah, that was a great segment. And I remember when that happened. And if you notice, the people in the studio, they went nuts. They just absolutely went nuts because, honestly, it looked like a shoot. The way Lawler sold it, the way Dundee's wife sold it, the way Beverly sold it, it was a shoot. Nobody knew the difference. Love it.
Okay.
Who was the other guy there?
Mickey Poole.
Okay.
He was, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but I always thought of all the wrestling managers that Jerry ever brought around, that Mickey Poole was one of the geekiest that he ever brought around.
Oh, yeah. And this a year after, Lawler's always, when he was a heel, like managers in his corner. And for the most part, he did great. Sam Bass and Jimmy Hart, maybe not so much when he had Mickey Poole and that. Certainly, I have no idea, Frank Seaton, where that happened. Hey, tremendous show, and we will continue with some video next week. And also, I want to have a debate next week too. But Michael, what subject earlier in the day did you recommend? You had something that you wanted us to talk about?
What national figure or worldwide wrestling figure made more of an impact on a society as a whole? Gorgeous George in the 50s versus Hulk Hogan in the 80s. And I brought that up. I don't know if you guys have seen the Netflix 5-part series on Hogan. And I had the opportunity last week to do it late at night. I watched one segment a night, like at 11 o'clock, and each segment's like 90 minutes. And I want to recommend it if you're a wrestling fan, because it tells Hogan's story. It was created 6 to 8 months before he died, and it goes right through the very last segment, talks about and has shots from the funeral and all that. And I found first of all, I think Netflix, better than any other network ever, does a better job of doing series of, if you would, biographical series.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the word out. But I think they do a better job than, the Ken Burns documentaries were great, but it was Ken Burns and doing it all. And this is Netflix as a network that does these things. They've got one on the 5 families that I haven't finished yet that is so far just captivating. But I thought they did a really good job of taking Hogan from the time he was in Memphis. Well, actually, they started when he was in Florida and came to Memphis, and taking him through his life, his ups, his great ascent, and his great fall. And I thought they did a tremendous job of that. So, folks, if you've got Netflix, I recommend it highly. Of all the things that they've done several wrestling things, by the way, but I think this Hogan thing is absolutely 5-star.
Another thing that I want to talk about next week, I'm going to throw a question out, everybody, and it's a 2-part question. And the question is professional wrestling versus sports entertainment. And the other question I want to ask, did Memphis Wrestling do sports entertainment before anybody else did? And that's the 2 questions for this show next week on Talking Memphis Wrestling. We're down as we will continue, and we'll talk about the end of 77, which was the debut of Jimmy Valiant. 1978 saw Joe LeDuc came into the area. 1979, another heel turn by Jerry Lawler, and also the Tupelo concession stand brawl. So we already have a general idea of what we'll bring at you next week, and really excited about that. And before we have Pat do his last take, and Bo James says, and in a comment, my only complaint of the Hogan documentary, they missed Guff coach wrestling when he was there, and that's obviously was Continental, and it was that version of Southeastern, but he thought it was very good as well. Last take, Pat Trammell.
It's interesting just to watch these earlier days and watch a lot of the experimentation that went on that you didn't see on TBS or TCG and all that, and the other stuff. But they kind of went on a wing every now and then, and it's worked out a lot. I like seeing the improvisation, if you will.
Michael, last take.
I think we're in the era of what we're watching and what we saw this week with the era of Jerry Jarrett coming in his own as a promoter and owning the company. And I think, Pat, you're right. They were throwing a lot of stuff against the wall that they didn't know was going to work or not. And the majority of it, in hindsight, ended up being genius. And so I think that's a telltale sign of the genius, if you would, of Jerry Jarrett. And of course, being his mom, that Christine, that she was, the teenie was in Nick's shadow and watching everything that Nick and Roy did for as long as she did, I know had to help him get the down payment, if not the down payment, but the foundation of his territory up and going. And then it was Jerry's creative that took over from that. And then, of course, hitting on Jerry Lawler when Jerry Lawler was doing this with his ascent. I mean, when you look back, it was a perfect storm for wrestling to become the big sport. And I say that, and I know we'll have the debate next week, but I say that in great sincerity, the big professional sport of Memphis, Tennessee, and the Memphis territory.
Absolutely, for sure. One quick answer, Pat, and I'll ask this. As we watch Channel 13 stuff earlier on and watch early days of Channel 5 wrestling, did you see much difference?
Well, I saw, a little bit. It seemed to be in 13. It was a little more scattered. Kind of found its own in the 5 studio to me.
Michael?
Yeah, I mean the cosmetics of it was different, but I think what happened when Jerry Jarrett took over, he wanted to make that big blast. He wanted to make that big explosion. He wanted to come on hard, and he did. And I think that was playing right into the Memphis audience and right into TV with Lance and then Dave coming over. It was just, again, I'm going to repeat what I said, a perfect storm. And I think he was a genius to do it.
As this is one of the times I wish Adam, because he likes talking about TV stuff, and so I see Adam doesn't have his camera on and having trouble with his thing. I would love, maybe we can do it next week, Adam to do his comparison on Channel 13. They basically got the ball running, and then they took it to another level for sure on that. Guys, this has been fun tonight. Hell of a show, don't you think?
I enjoyed it. I like the young stuff.
The Three Musketeers are back together again. It's great. Great seeing Pat. Great seeing you. I had a couple of busy weeks here, but now we're back into the swing of things. I will, on a personal note, make 2 things public. First of all, the baby, our granddaughter, which was due on May 28th, has now been moved up 10 days. So we're about 10 days away from Melanie's, bless her heart, she's so excited. And she's getting her granddaughter. And she's already bought more horsey stuff than you'll ever want to have for a baby. But that was good. And I also want to say a big thank you. I had a lot of fun and a lot of good times talking to people over the last few weeks. And, Bo's show is starting to take off a little bit here in Huntsville. I'm hearing people talk.
And Michael was doing his last take, and he went away. He just went out of here. And Pat, I'm trying to give him a situation and congratulations on the grandbaby coming up. And it doesn't look to me like Michael is able to get back on here. But Pat, except for the issue we had with Adam having technical issues and Michael doing his great thing at the end, and that went away. And so we ended a little rocky, but it was a hell of a show.
Great show. Enjoyed having everybody together and all our friends on the air making comments. Bo, good to hear from you, and know you're doing great up in the Huntsville area, and look forward to getting up there and seeing you soon. And here's Michael back.
Michael, you went away.
Then he went away again.
You went away again. Let me get you back on.
The shadow knows.
Yeah, may be the shadow after this. But no, I just was just saying, and thank you for echoing that, Pat, that, I think there's a place in the business right now, I think because of the ticket prices, because of wrestling being absent out of the smaller towns and the mid-sized cities, except for a big event. I think there is plans and room for local television to bring local shows in that will draw some money and make some money for the TV stations. And I think we're seeing a big test of that right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Absolutely. I couldn't be more excited. A few weeks ago, we had Bo on when you guys were not on with us, and we will hope to have Bo back, and he give us Southern States Wrestling's update coming up there. And Canadian Skeptical says, Michael, it looks like you have AOL dial-up. I don't think that's the case. Do you?
I have no telly. Call it Go Speed Network. It's No Speed Network here. and it used to be a local telephone company. They were bought out 3 times. They're owned out a company in Maine right now. And the only places they have outside of the states of New York, Maine, and New Hampshire are one little cell over in Missouri in Jefferson City, which, by the way, Learfield has to fight through, and Arab, Alabama. And so we have got help coming. And there's a new telephone company that's about to make a debut here before the end of the year, and I'm going to be the first customer, I can assure you.
Very good. For Adam Dunn, our great producer, for Mr. Pat Trammell in Birmingham, Alabama. From Arab in Huntsville, Alabama's favorite son, Michael St. John. I'm from Northeast Arkansas, proud Arkansas State Red Wolf, used to be Arkansas State Indian. I'm Randy Hales, and we're going to say so long, everybody, from the state of Arkansas. Alabama will be with you again next Tuesday. And I guess Adam is not able to play.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guest